balance. Sometimes you feel high, sometimes you feel a little low. There's beauty in
Ward TV and What's Up Aboard the podcast. My name is Wardy Ward, and I'm the host of the self-help educational podcast that can be found on YouTube, Pandora Music, Apple TV, or anywhere you get your streaming content. Our motto on this platform is everybody has a story to tell, but we just want to know what's yours. And if you're new to my platform, welcome. Before I introduce my esteemed guest today, I want to mention the sponsor for this episode. If you're like me, you want to have a lot of variety in your eyewear, but you don't want to break the bank every time you get a new pair of glasses. I suggest you go to Zenni Optical. They have all your eyewear needs for as little as $10. That's including lenses and shipped to your door. They have tints for your glasses, transitions, progressive lenses, bifocals too. Don't take my word for it. Try them for yourself and tell them Wardy Ward sent you. Now, returning back to the podcast, my guest today is a phenomenal woman who has faced and overcame many challenges and still receiving blessings along the way. It's my pleasure to invite Miss Regina Watson to the lab. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you for inviting me.
Glad to have you here. Well, Regina, I firmly believe that everyone knows who they are or what they'll be known for. For example, I think I'm going to be always known as a man who can connect everybody with everything. And if I can't get it, then you really don't need it. So, in your words, tell me a little bit about who is Regina Watson and what's your morning routine like as our icebreaker?
Regina Watson is a motivated, resilient Black woman.
Mm,
Now, my routine, it varies depending on the day.
okay,
I generally try to get things together the day before so that in the morning I can lay in the bed as long as I can,
I know
to
that's
be
right.
honest. And then go to work, and I do have to wake up and pray first,
Okay,
and
good.
then
Yeah.
go on my merry
Mm,
way. Hmm.
mm. So, is it hard for you to get up in the morning?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now, are you getting enough sleep at night, or what's going on? What time you go to bed? Then that's a better question.
Well, is I get enough sleep, but because of past traumas,
Okay.
sleeping can be difficult. So, it just depends on the day. I'll put on my YouTube music, water,
Hmm.
or my Psalms 91 to go to sleep.
Mm,
But sometimes I still am up at 4 in the morning
dang.
and I can't go back to sleep. And then when I do go back to sleep, it's like 45 minutes before the alarm clock goes off.
That
So
sucks.
it just varies.
Okay. I
Hmm.
want to talk about that and get into the trauma you experienced here in a minute. But before I jump into that, get into the weeds, I want to know basically, well, what do you do for a living? What type of work are you in?
I have a year's experience as a case manager in some form of social work. I've worked as a contractor through the Department of Children's Services. Did that for years, and sometimes I still contract and do that. But my current position now is security specialist too at our local public transportation.
Okay.
I assist in connecting services for passengers that need outside resources and to assist them to make sure that they'll be able to get to their destinations if situations arise.
I see. Okay. How did you get into that line of work? That's definitely sounds interesting.
Well, um, COVID,
Got to do it.
case management, my contractor work, you had to have face to face.
Okay.
So when I had a caseload of 20 people, it went down to two, and it's hard to connect an infant to a
Mm,
parent via video. So
yeah.
a lot of my clients throughout the state of Indiana and different counties, we weren't able to connect. So my income dropped.
Mm,
Um, then a lot of the case managers didn't go back for whatever for various reasons, and I needed a steady income that I had lost. So
mm-hmm,
I was afforded an opportunity to look into a position that I know one of my fraternal sisters had, and
mm-hmm.
I applied and showed and excelled my skills and was able to get into transportation. Yes.
There you go. So you said you were doing the working with like DCS and things like that.
Correct.
You, oh, that had to be a challenging position. Were you one of those people that took the kids out the home by chance?
No, actually, I
Oh,
was an advocate for the children.
okay.
The ultimate goal were for the children to return to their parents'
Mhm.
care.
Okay.
But a lot of times I was more into advocating for the parent and making sure that their needs were getting met. Because if you don't have the parents' needs met, you can't meet the children's needs.
Right.
And I tapped into a lot of finding out who they were so that they can make sure going forward once they will return that they won't go back. And
Hmm.
just being an advocate for the parent and the child, a spokesperson that would speak on the parent and child's behalf. I also completed many hours of visitation, so I would be the connect for the parent and the child to visit so that they can continue their bond.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you've seen it all and done it all in that field.
Yes.
That kind of makes me wonder now, you had to go to school to get a degree to work in this field, or I'm sure you went to
Yes.
school, right? Okay. What
Yes.
is your degree in?
I have a degree in psychology with a minor in sociology.
Oh, so you can read people.
I can.
Okay. All right. So, what was the goal when you went to school? That's what you wanted to do? You wanted to get into that field? Is that why you
Now,
chose that major?
actually, my goal was to be obstetrician.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I later found out during a visiting Penn State. I had
Mm.
gotten a scholarship to go to medical school,
Oh, wow.
and I I only knew from giving birth naturally. I only knew my friends who were giving birth naturally. I had never experienced anyone having to have an emergency C-section. So
Hmm.
in my body and mind, that's everybody's way of going, and that's not true. So um, I remember going in the room with 250 other people, and the first thing they said, we're only taking five, and this
What?
will see who the five are going to be. Everybody, essays were excellent, your scores were excellent, but let's see. The first thing they showed was a lady going in crisis, and while
Hmm.
she was delivering, and they had to do emergency C-section. I packed my
Mm.
bag and I left. It was too much
That,
because I don't want to ever cause harm to a person physically, even though that it
mm,
would be a need for someone to survive and their child to survive. That step
yeah.
I couldn't do. So I came back to Indianapolis and I signed up for Martin University
Okay.
and graduated there and with 2 degrees. Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's a switch. So you ended up doing that, but I know, well, you probably would have been a good doctor, and it's never too late to go back. So don't give up on your dream because we can use more doctors.
Oh, that's one of my goals that I'm working toward right now is to become the first doctor in my lineage on both sides, my mother and my father's. So yeah.
Oh, were you the first person in your family to graduate from college?
No, my mother has a college degree.
Oh, okay.
My aunts all have. My grandmother was a nurse.
Hmm.
My father's mother was a finance major and worked at the finance center. So education was always a thing that we
Hmm.
had to do. So not getting education just wasn't on my family's to-do list. You're gonna have an
Yeah,
education. Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. I definitely can appreciate that. So, would recommend college for everybody, and or better yet, if you didn't have your college degree, would you still have been successful?
I would have been successful, but I would still be limited. I was an
Mhm.
older adult when I got my education.
Okay.
If I had went to school right out of college with the rest of my uh kids in school, it would have been different. But I
Yeah.
kind of flip flopped my
Yeah.
story when I had my kids first. Then I went to school.
Okay.
But I've always longed for higher education. I've always was nosy and like, why does that work? Let me, okay, I could do it this way.
Uh-huh.
So I'm always into learning things.
Yeah.
So not going to school, it wasn't mandatory in my home, but my lineage was like, no, you go to school. You see, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So you said you had kids first and then went to school.
Yes.
Okay, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, sometimes you need that gap year or gap years before you go back. I think because really it probably makes you more eager to get that degree, especially if you work a job or fast food or something like that. Boy, whew.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was difficult. Would I change anything? No,
Mm.
because I look at things totally different. And being I was a teen mom,
Okay.
so I have beat the odds.
Yeah,
So if you had a baby in the 80s and 90s, your life was over. That's what
man.
I was told. Oh my God, your life is over. You bring these kids into the world. And what are you gonna do? Well, raise them. Like,
All
what else
right. What
would
else
you
can, yeah.
expect me to do?
Yeah.
Um, and as I look at my adult children now, I am very proud of them, and I did a good job. But if you're just doing life, you don't know how good you do until someone says, "Girl, your kids have never been to jail," or "Your kids don't have this," and I have really, really learned that I spoiled my children with love,
Yeah. That's
and
good.
I didn't know that. And so the conversations that I have with my children are, these people didn't have love, or they didn't have what you gave us, and they're appreciative, and I
Hmm.
see it in how they raise their children.
Yeah.
So I'm not the gmail that, oh my God, is they taking care of their back? I don't have to worry about that,
Right.
because they're following my example, and the things that I see that I made mistakes on, they listen. They may not listen when I want them to, but they eventually listen. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually they get it. Yeah.
Hmm.
So how many kids did you have?
I have four children, three living
Hmm.
and one deceased.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Hmm.
So the one who died, is that kind of some of the trauma you had alluded to earlier when you said you can't sleep at night? Is that something that's kind of running in your
Yes.
mind?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you experienced that, but can you tell us a little bit about what happened in that situation?
I am a mother who lost their child to homicide. Actually, my son, his girlfriend, and their friend, it was a triple homicide. So I didn't just lose my son, I lost my future daughter-in-law and their friend as
Mm,
well.
wow, triple homicide.
Yes.
That's here in Indianapolis that
Yes,
happened.
on the far east side.
Wow. So how does one, I mean, it's just unfathomable. I mean, to even imagine that type of pain you must have experienced during that. Did you get in a support group for something to deal with that? And how are you dealing with it now?
Well, when I first started, the day of, I'm not going to encourage or suggest, but what I did was I asked for a joint. That's for the old school people. I asked for a pack of cigarettes. I had quit. I started again that day. And I
Oh,
asked for a glass of Bacardi straight up with alcohol. Now, that was on a
mm,
Friday. By Monday, I was in therapy because I know
oh,
of therapy because I have a degree in therapy.
yeah.
And then I went through those particular steps. I've been in a lot of groups. Um, the Marion County Police Department has a group that assists, and a lot of people don't know about it, or don't want to use it. Um, it was available for
Hmm.
my sanity. I knew that I could not do it by myself. Now, I did not rely on God at that time. I did rely on man. But be, with the both of them, God and man's assistance, I was able to navigate through. And then my circle of family and friends who protected me, or who were there for me. And a lot of people
Hmm.
don't have a good group of family and a good group of friends that, really recently I just did not. know how they were there to support me.
Hmm.
Uh, so because you're living and you're going through it, and
Yes.
when you are stable, because you'll never have closure, but you're stable and to look back and like, oh my God, like, thank you. I can never thank a couple of people enough for protecting me and loving me and caring for me during that time. But I will have to say, my physician, my therapist, like I said, our local police department and their services, that's what got me through. I
Yeah.
currently am in a group called A Mother's Cry and another group, Purpose for My Pain. And this is a group of mothers and family members who all have lost their children to gun violence. And A Mother's Cry is through D. Ross Foundation.
Hmm.
And that particular group, Mr. D. Ross, ensures that the mothers that have lost their children are able to navigate just day to day, make us feel special when we don't want to feel special.
Yeah.
Saturday we meet once a month, and this past Saturday I learned how to do the line dance. I am excited. Like, I'm ready to go to the next line dance class. I
Okay.
also have learned how to um, make candles. I'll be learning how to
Oh.
make shea butter. I learned how to put on my makeup correctly.
Mm.
He assures that we are still able to be one, a mother that not just lost their child, but a mother that can be okay with the day.
Yeah.
And we've also met with some political people and make connections with finding out cases that are not closed.
Hmm.
I'm thankful that my current case with my son's uh, defender, he's currently incarcerated, but there are a lot of mothers and families that don't have that piece of completed in their
Hmm.
journey.
Yeah.
So it varies. And the purpose for my pain is with I think I'm pronouncing her name right. Please forgive me, Andrea Dykes. Think that's how she pronounced her last name. I just
Okay.
call her Miss A.
Yeah.
And her son was a child that was um shot at a party, and he's still
Oh.
living. So you have a lot of aspects when you a person commits a crime and uses a gun. The person could die, or a parent
Mm.
has to now take care of a child for the rest of their life. So
Yeah.
she gets together and she works with the community and has agencies to work with people with those types of disabilities. And coming in contact with people like that lets me know that despite the tragedy, I still have a purpose to live. I
Hmm.
still can be a voice for someone else who can't speak. And giving me that platform has always been good.
Yeah.
Um, but days like the month of November is always hard for me. My son's birthday, he would have been 38 at the end of this month.
Mm.
So November, it's easier now than it was in the past.
Hmm.
But it just because I remember when he was little. I remember when I was pregnant. So all those senses come
Yeah.
back more
Right.
in the month of November and in May. He not May, June. He died in June. So
So yeah, two times it affects you. Yeah.
yeah,
And you said you know a guy of him, well, the guy who's responsible. He's incarcerated this time.
correct.
Is do I guess I'm wondering, does one really forgive someone for that, or for taking the life of your child?
Well, it's crazy because I lost my child twice.
Mm.
Once to death, and I lost custody of him prior
Oh.
to that. So for me, my journey for loss is a lot. Um,
Mm.
and to forgive, I'm gonna be honest. I'm working on that. Um, because at the end of the day, it's not me to make the ultimate say on the forgiveness. That's actually God's. But I'm working on how to navigate in this world where I know there are people that are out here walking around. I just know that I'm blessed that the person that did what he did to my son and to my daughter-in-law and to his friend are incarcerated, because there are a
Mm.
lot of them that don't get that.
Yeah.
I'm really, really working on forgiveness. I walked in my beginning journey forgiven, but in my heart, I wasn't. And
Hmm.
that is true because it is hard to ask, but everybody
It is.
navigates through it different. But again, I pray on that daily because
Hmm.
when you don't forgive, you you or give it to God to help you to forgive, then
Right.
things in your life don't generally go right. So
Yeah. I that definitely makes sense, and I can see your point in that. Does it seem like that? Well, you said your son would be 38 this year. Does it seem like he's been gone that long?
no, seems like yesterday.
No. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I could be somewhere and I
Uh-huh.
mean it's an age difference, but I'll see a 22-year-old that would dress or have the swag that my son had or have
Uh-huh.
his favorite color on. And
Yeah.
I'm looking, I know he's not him, you know? And
Hmm.
then I'll just give the young guy, I like your swag. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because that's something I would give or say to my son. And of course, these young generation guys are like, oh, thank you, man. All right, boo. That's what I
Yeah.
generally get. But it in the beginning, I'm telling you, it was very difficult. I didn't like going out by myself because every face I saw was my son, and the body
Mm.
types didn't matter. That he was there, and he wasn't. It was all in my mind. So
Yeah.
um now I've learned to give the young men compliments. You look good today,
Yeah.
son. You know what I'm saying? I don't always get the response because sometimes I do wish it would be the response my son would say.
Yeah.
That's not realistic, but
Yeah.
I get hit on a lot, but it's funny, and I'll be like, no. And it's like, you really think I look good today? You do look good today. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good that you do that because a lot of times young men, we don't get a lot of compliments or even positive attention. It's most of the time is pull your pants up or don't say that or so it's
Right.
good when somebody can at least give them something positive in their life. So I do commend you for that.
Thank you.
Um, so I guess that yeah, I just don't like death. It's just the enemy of life. But I'm glad you have those resources available to you and you use them and you even sharing it with us. So I thank you on that. But I don't want to go on too long on that. Let
That's
me
fine.
move on to another topic I want to talk to you about. I know before you said you had the kids young and you went back to school. I also
Mhm.
want to talk to you about relationships because that's one of the things we talk about on the show. Now, were you married or are you married or do you want to get married? Where were you at on that in that
So,
timeline?
my children's fathers, with an S, was not married. One was almost a common law, but that's not a case in Indiana. I was with him
Oh,
that long. Each of them have their own individual personalities. Um, and we didn't get married. Um,
okay.
I did get married, and I was married for 10, 12 years together,
Okay.
approximately
10,
14. But that did
10
not work
years.
either.
Uh-oh.
So I am a going on year two divorcee.
Oh, so
Uh,
you fresh out the divorce. Oh, okay.
yes, child. Yes.
So
And
you
it
was
is difficult being uh 50 plus in dating in the dating
mm,
pool. It's difficult.
I definitely want to ask you about the dating pool. But so you had over a decade of marriage in there.
Hmm.
So what do you think could have been could have happened differently to make your marriage continue on or to last? 'Cause I know a lot of times I've heard people say, "Well, if we did this and that, we'd still be together." Was there something like that in your relationship that could have made
Kind
it
of,
work?
sort of. Well, not making any decisions in a trauma.
Oh yeah.
I met him prior, and one, our family knew each other before he and I knew each other. Like I knew his son, I knew his ex-wife. Um, my kids knew his kids. Everybody knew everybody. His
Right.
father, my father, his mother, my father, and uncle. Everybody knew, but he and I. We're the only two. We were the last to meet. But when we met, it was during my son's death,
Oh.
and we trauma bonded,
Oh,
which
okay.
that is something now that I look back, we should never got married, even though it was 2 years after I was still fresh in the loss of my son. Um, did he love me? Yes. He did not know how to show it. Did I love him more than I should have? And I'm learning with my current classes that I attend at church, preparing myself for marriage because I do want to get married again.
Okay.
Um, that we were definitely unequally yoked, not just
Mm.
biblically, just in life period. I'm a hard worker. He was not, and it doesn't work. I always felt like I was the alpha, and I want to
Ooh.
be.
Mm.
I want to be what they say now, that soft girl era, and I can't be in that soft girl era when I don't have a leader to lead the home.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah.
He led, but then he didn't want to lead anymore. It's up to you. Wait, what? I thought we were doing going this way, and it didn't work. Um, I was devastated when I was asked for the divorce, but I was also upset with myself because there was plenty of signs that I did not see. I
Mm.
just knew that I got married in my 40s and we
Yeah.
going in the 50s, that I
Mm.
didn't want to be single. Now, do I like my quietness in my house and peace? Oh, most definitely. But do I
Definitely.
want to share it with someone going forward? Yes. So,
Hmm.
mhm.
Now, so you said you were alpha woman. Were you the alpha in the beginning, or was he an alpha in the beginning?
Honestly, because I've always lived in the I got to handle everything mode, I was the alpha in the beginning.
Mm.
Not
Yeah.
that I wanted to be, I was a single mother. So there
Hmm.
was no
Right.
man
Yeah.
in the house. So I had
There
to,
you.
hey, I got to go to work. Look, you got to do this. I got to do this.
Yeah.
And it
You was
didn't
getting you
work.
was getting stuff done.
I was getting stuff done.
Yeah.
So me getting stuff done was appealing to him.
Uh-huh.
For me, oh, I got a husband. Whoo, I get to put some things on my husband's plate. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he didn't know the plate.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
way he was raised and the way I was raised were two different ways. Now, could we have come together outside of the trauma and maybe have worked? Yes. But then there were a lot of things that I needed to work on and that he needed to work on. Like even before my son's passing, I still had trauma from as a child that I had
Yeah.
never addressed. So when you
Mm.
bring those childhood traumas, teenage traumas, physical abuse, verbal abuse, financial abuse, all the abuses, and you
Yeah.
never address them. And then you get into a marriage or a relationship that's a trauma relationship. You carry all that. You carry
Hmm.
it. And it wasn't fair to either one of us, but neither one of us really knew. I, on the other hand, take learning how to better myself a daily task. He, on the other hand, didn't. So I'm getting, I'm healing and I'm
Hmm.
moving, and he's still there. Oh, I'm the one that's changing. Yes, I don't want to be sad all the time.
Yeah.
I can't ever bring my son back. I can never bring my dad back. I can never bring my grandmother back. I want to know how to navigate. So when my grandchildren come, they won't be saying, Grandma was sad all the time.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was stuck. I was light years ahead from being stuck.
Mm. Yeah.
I like finishing things when I start. When I look back, he was started. Hey, you do this. No,
Mm.
wait, what?
Mm.
I want us to finish it together. You know, if you have a plan for our family, my job is to assist us to get there.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got it. I'm gonna be beside you, but I shouldn't have to be the one to take it over because then I'm still in the alpha seat
Yeah.
doing everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That had to be her. So he asked for a divorce, and because you was wanting him to be more of the leader of the home, and that kind of pushed him
No,
the other
and you
way.
know what? It was during COVID. It's one thing, two things that
Oh,
I
say
learned during
less.
COVID. Either you're gonna live and you gonna stay with your partner and learn yourself, or you was gonna get sick and die. Those are the two things that I learned during COVID. I didn't know nothing else. And during COVID, from January of 2020 to 2022, the true him. Oh, this is what you do all day? If I'm gone, I'm assuming you do. Oh, well, no, I need to get up and do this and do this no, what? I wasn't at home. I was gone to work. So, ah, oh, sir, no, no, I don't. No,
Mm,
okay.
mm,
This is this is not gonna work. Because it's one thing you okay, she's coming home, let me fix this, let me do this, and hey, but when you really at home and you laying, ne- oh my
mm.
god, I can't sleep. I didn't realize you snore that much, because you know what I'm saying. Oh, you.
Yeah.
But what I've learned since then, those things never changed. That's who he was when I got him.
Mm. So trauma bonding. So you look past some red
I
flags.
looked past thousands of red flags because
Mm.
he was my person.
Yeah.
He was my person. And right now I'm going through forgiving myself
Ooh.
through it
I,
because
I
I was
like
like,
that.
I allowed all this. I got a
Hmm.
degree. I should know. I should have seen the signs. Well, no, I couldn't have seen the signs when someone else came in and did what they did.
Yeah.
And I probably would still be married to him
Hmm.
if he hadn't said, hey, because I wasn't giving him what he needed. So he was like, hey, let me go and get this divorce. Okay.
Dang.
I still to this day don't know what it was. I kinda have an inclination, but thank you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But he also didn't think that I was going to go through with the divorce
Mm.
because he was like, you got a real attorney. Yes, sir. I'm gonna give you what you're asking for
You called
because
his
my
bluff.
stress level is this high and I can't continue to be that way. So
Mm.
he was like, you really, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That had to be a tough one. What type of work did he do? What was his career?
He it varied.
Okay.
IT. He's brilliant. He had a brilliant mind, but I don't
Mm.
think he knew how to take his brilliance and make it work for him. If
Okay.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that.
Hmm.
Um, some women say that marriage is not just about love, but it's also about a financial future of the couple.
Yes.
Do you think that you guys stayed together too for financial reasons?
I think he stayed with me for the financial reasons.
Oh, he was trying to use you for money.
That's my take. His story may be different from mine, but
Okay.
that's my take. Um, and when I look at it, because like I went from a certain income bracket to another income bracket during COVID,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, I need assistance.
Hmm.
What? Like, sir, yeah, it like when you came in, I had my career. I was already on the road.
Hmm.
There are things that transpired during that process, but I never was no long time without employment. Never.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm gonna have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So were you during that COVID time? I know it was nobody saw that coming. Do you feel that you were kind of worried about finances when all that stuff hit and not relying on him to be the alpha you needed? Was that scary for you?
I didn't realize that's what I was needing
Oh.
because I've always did it, always did it. Now it's neither one of us. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm the type that like, okay, this happened. What's going on? Okay, we can work, but I can work from home. Let's all work
Hmm.
from home.
There you
Work
go.
from home. Like, yeah, okay, we gotta have an income.
Yeah.
The income that we have is now gone. Our savings is now gone. Uh, but we got to be on the same wavelength. And like I said, our worth ethics are different. I was
Hmm.
raised by a mother who worked. My grandmother worked.
Hmm.
My aunts all are professional women. My grandmother was a professional woman. I have a nurse. You see what I'm saying? Everybody worked. Their
Mm-hmm.
marriages, they worked together. So that's what I saw.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like I said, he didn't see that. He saw it and that's what he wanted, but he didn't know how to get it and maintain it, if that makes sense.
Understandable. Yeah. So you grew up in a two-parent household, I take it.
I grew up in a parents that were married,
Yeah. Okay.
one
All
parent
right.
household, but my
Oh,
mom and dad were married.
they didn't live together?
My father was a musician, so he was gone.
Oh,
My
okay.
mother is was the one that raised us.
Oh, I
Now, when dad
understand.
came home, we knew he was home because you didn't act fool when daddy came home. But that
Mm-hmm.
was very far in between, very
Yeah.
far in between. And he suffered with his own battles. And one thing that I did learn um by opening up and learning who my parents are, I'm a lot like my father. Only difference is I'm a lot like my mama. I'ma stay.
Mm.
Now
Okay.
I'm gonna go on vacation, but I gotta come back home. My dad, he'll be gone and we yeah, oh, but I'm gonna come back home. So but yeah, I
Mm.
was taught that no matter, you stay.
Yeah. Work it out.
But there's a difference between working it out if somebody's there. Why
Mm.
stay? In my mind, I'm staying by myself. I'm not interacting with you, if
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I remember being young, mad at my mom because she would never leave my dad. She's like, he's my husband and I need to stay. Okay, but I don't see a husband,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. So when my ex asked me, I'm like, why am I here? I'm not going to stay married to somebody 20, 30, 40 years and they're not there.
Mm-hmm.
I could have just married myself for that matter. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't want that. I didn't, because I was by myself. Even though he was there, I was by myself because I did it by myself. My mother was in a marriage and she was by herself, and I didn't want that. So
Yeah.
it hurt my feelings um that I allowed myself to put more into somebody than they would pour into me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm learning to forgive myself for.
Yeah, I heard you say it earlier. I was thinking about that because I think a lot of times we don't forgive ourselves, and if we
Hmm.
don't forgive ourselves, we tend to carry that around.
Hmm.
Are you and him still friends now, or can y'all communicate at all, or y'all just stay away from each other?
I stay away because if I say we can conversate, I believe, and I could be wrong, but after our conversation before, we're getting back together. No.
Uh-oh, he trying to put the band back together? He ain't over you yet?
I believe he's over me, but if I were to open that door, yeah. And I did soul ties. I cut all soul ties. So I don't talk to his children. I
Oh
want to
wow,
talk to the grandbabies, but I don't. You know what I'm saying?
dang, you
His son,
hardcore.
well, where was it getting me?
I see. I'm just saying.
You know,
The
I had
family
to cut it
these
off.
bonds. Yeah, wow. Okay.
I had to cut it off because if I didn't cut it off, well, let me tell you what, I don't, look,
You're right.
we're
Yeah.
done. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? And I hate that I had to be to the extreme because, like I said, I knew his kids before I
Mm-hmm.
met him. And his son, I know he's mad, but I have to do this for me and my healing and my journey. You
Yeah.
know, did we
Yeah.
have good times? Yes. Did we have bad times? Yes. Did he get on my nerves? Heck yeah. And I'm sure I got on his. But like I told his son, that was ours. And there's nothing you could do with that. You know what I'm saying? My pillow talk with your dad was my pillow talk with your dad. But I know you are the, hey, let me tell you, I talked to such and such. I don't need you telling my business. I ain't got nothing to
Mm-hmm.
tell, but still, you know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
care about he got a new girlfriend because
Yeah.
I know and I don't want to know, but of course, Oh, okay, that's fine.
Uh,
He's happy,
yeah,
I'm happy. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess it's like taking out the trash. Once you take the trash out, you don't chase down the trash truck and get the trash. Let me look at it one more time. You just
Right.
you're right. I agree. Sometimes you just gotta do that. And well, what moving forward in your next relationship? What are you looking for in the next guy?
Someone that has a relationship with God.
Okay. Okay.
Someone that is patient. Someone that can talk to me and not at me.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that um is gonna work with me because it takes two. Heck, it takes 100 now to just run a household. You know what I'm
Man,
saying?
man.
But that has their vision and follows their vision
Mm-hmm.
and makes it plain. I don't have to second guess. I, when I will be like, okay, oh no, babe, you don't need to do that. I got it. And
Mm-hmm.
learn to sit still and let him do it because I've been the one that had to do it. Be like,
Yes.
I got you, babe. I got, okay, I am going
Would
to do this. Oh, mm. And
would that be a
enjoy the
challenge for you?
moment. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I've been
The hand over the
the,
reins, like,
the queen, but I'm learning it. I'm learning
okay.
that. I'm learning that um conversing with someone and learning just by conversation those red flags or
Yeah.
so and I just really want somebody just to hang and be my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We
Yeah.
can hang
Yeah.
and chill. You make me laugh, I make you laugh. That like that uh what's that little song? You my boo thing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you my homie. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And in the beginning of my past, people thought me and him were married for 100 years, and we weren't.
Man.
He was my
Mm-hmm.
friend. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Our
Right. Yeah.
friendship left. And if a friendship leaves in a marriage, there's still other things that you should be able to do to get back with your friend. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
And keep those lines of communication. It was it I am learning a lot in my 55 years. I
Mm-hmm.
learned that I do have a mouth on me. Can be a very little slick every now and again. And I have to learn, Regina, that is not nice. That is not polite. You should not talk to him like that. Or just people in general. You shouldn't talk to people like that. Why would you say that? And I also learn to apologize when
Oh,
I'm wrong.
you're very self-aware. That's very rare. I don't. I've been did a lot of interviews, and you're the first person who said those two things in a sentence. I've never heard that before. So your therapy is working. I commend you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
listen because I mean that takes a lot of growth to say sorry because that's one of the hardest things for people to do because in your mind, I don't think you intentionally meant to hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then for you to apologize, you kind of want to justify it sometimes. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
only did it because, or if
Mm-hmm.
you hadn't have said, but no, it's just I'm sorry and
And
mean it.
let's move on.
Let it go.
Learn from it and let's move on. And then somebody to hold me accountable.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
Regina, you know that wasn't right. You're
Hmm.
supposed to be my girl. Would
Yeah.
how okay, I'm gonna repeat it to you. How you oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. We
So
all need
and
somebody like that.
it didn't just affect it doesn't always affect just in marriages. It just in relationships when you deal with people. I have tend to oh, I don't like that. I'm just gonna walk away because I'm done. But you can't do that in real life. You can't do
Uh,
that at work. If you start something, you gotta finish it, right? I'm known
yeah.
for starting things and finishing them. Okay, I gotta go back. Okay, look. So how can we do this different? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
Um, okay, I can't assist you. Let me put somebody in place that can.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay. But also having somebody that's gonna be willing to allow others that we trust
Right.
to come in and say, hey, that you could have maybe done it this way. Not that either one of us were wrong,
Right. Yeah.
but our black community, they don't want nobody in their business. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm the man of the house and this is how it's gonna be. Okay, but if I don't feel safe, if I can't say what I need to say for me to get off my chest, then why are we even here?
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing it to save face, or I got this, or I have a husband? Because if I have to argue every day about my emotions, or if I have to always say, "So did you hear me? Are you listening?"
Mm-hmm.
That means you're not, which means I'm probably cutting you off in the conversation, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to look at those things. Now, I'm still growing and I'm still healing. I let me tell you, when I say the dating pool is really, really different. Um,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of, to me, people taking on people's identities.
Yeah.
There are a lot of liars. If
Mm-hmm.
you 5'5", say you 5'5". Don't say you 6 foot, or don't tell me you 65.
Uh-huh.
And you gonna say no. You tell me you 45, but you look 85. I could
Man.
look at the picture, tell that's you not that age now. I
Right.
may not look 55, but I'm in my 50s. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
uh-huh.
Or and I really am open. It doesn't matter what race you are, as
Okay.
long as I can understand your, you're like we can understand each other. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been meeting these men, and all these men's wives have passed away to cancer,
Mm.
and they were married for 23 years or more. And my heart is hurt. Well, what kind of cancer did your wife die from? Breast or over ovarian. And this may be
Mm.
true, but the last seven of y'all, the exact same tone and exact same sentence. No.
So you think it's a scam?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because
Okay.
then I go ask the question, uh, do you believe in God? And they hang up.
Oh, click.
They
Hello.
it's,
Hello.
yeah,
Yeah.
what? I mean, you didn't even give me you believe in your higher power. But
Mm-hmm.
according to this Christian notice that you got on your sentence, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, okay. Or all they want, can you send me a picture? Send you a picture of what? My picture's on this. No, sir, no. No, I'm not sending you a picture. Oh, no.
Man.
You do you not know about the internet?
Yeah.
Nobody should send any pictures
Yeah.
online.
Yep.
No.
Be there forever.
Um, or I was told that I did too much.
Hmm.
And I
I'm
said,
listening.
well, how
You
do I
did too
do too
much.
much?
Yeah.
I go on vacations. I take care of my mental health.
Oh yeah.
I was given a prescription years ago to make sure I went on 2 vacations a year. Weekenders, extended 5 days or more. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to do that due to health and, of course, COVID. It
Mm.
kind of messed everything up.
Yeah.
But I met a person. We were going out. We were seeing each other. Then I noticed that I was the one making more effort than they were.
Oh.
I get it culturally, but at the same time, I need what you coming up with this week. We live in the same city. You mean to tell me I can only see you once a week and we live in the same city?
Dang. Was it
Mm,
truck driver?
no.
Okay.
So when I met him, I let him know, hey, I go on vacations. I'll be leaving in September. So when I go on vacation, I will let you know when I land. I'm going to go do my self help, and I will let you know when I come back home.
Fair enough.
Had a whole, you left me. Wait a minute, time out. I'll let you know. Women don't leave their partners. I didn't know we was a partner. I didn't know we was on first. I didn't know. Now we were friends, like we could have gotten that you was my man,
Mm-hmm.
but I need to see and conversate more than just hello, how you doing?
Yes.
Hey, how
Yeah,
are you
put more
doing?
effort. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're not making effort. I'm not gonna make effort. So yeah, I've met interesting, a lot of interesting men. Yeah, I have.
I can definitely agree with that. My cousin, she lives in Chicago, and she told me she met a guy, and he said, "Hey, let's meet at the movie." He said, "We'll just meet there, and I'll take you back home." So she said, when he got there, she didn't know it was him because the picture he showed was 20 years ago. And then he pulled up and got off the bus, where she didn't have a problem with him riding the bus, but he had a big bag of change. And that's how he was getting around. And she was like, she stayed with it and went to the movies, but she said she didn't want she I was I mean,
Sorry.
yeah, it's stuff out there. So I
It's
get
like
it.
no, okay. So I don't- I've dated up to 10 years older than myself.
I was gonna ask you what's your range.
Yeah, and I've dated up to 7. Well, I was a teenage mom, so I am not really into dating guys that are 45. You 5 years older than my oldest. So no, and
That's
she
too
likes older
young?
men. Yeah, so
Oh,
we're 15 years apart. We raised each other. You feel what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Oh yeah.
So I'm not really, I mean, you might no. I don't ever want to put a person in a predicament because I don't know how they were raised.
Hmm.
And the world is small, and there has been an instance that who I dated when I was younger tried to date my daughter. See what I'm saying? So I always, yeah,
Oh.
and it wasn't intentional. Once that person realized, oh, I can't date you. I remember you. I remember you. Oh no, no, you know what I'm saying? I dated your
Uh-huh.
mama, but because of our age is so close in proximity, we mm, these old men though. That was
Hmm.
with Shirley's and the Barbers, and the Barbers took care of Rufus's.
Rufus.
Yes, I. It's not that I don't want an older man, but I don't want an old man. You feel what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying?
Yep,
I need
yep.
somebody who's gonna get out. We gonna go, and we now I gotta be in the house before it's dark. It gets dark at 4:45. I don't get out to 5.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Or can you meet me at the VA for lunch? Time out. No, sir, I'm not gonna be there. You're not listen. Listen. Yeah, I asked to go on dates because it was during the day
Hmm.
and they were leaving their VA appointments. No, no, no. You can meet me in the cafeteria. No, I'm cool. Thank you. You
Mm-mm.
didn't even say down the street on 10th Street. You said at the cafeteria. Are you talking about MCL? Because I do like the MCL chicken.
I do hate that, yeah.
But, sir, and I can't do that uh during the day. I'm at work.
Hmm.
I'm available after hours and on the weekends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh no. I get up if you don't call me at 5 in the morning, sir, because I'm not going to answer the phone.
Right.
I
Yeah,
had
you
one
gotta
get mad at
wait.
me because I didn't answer the phone. I called you. What time did you call? I was up at 4. Ooh, child, I was turning over at 4.
Man,
And
that's
even
still
if I
yesterday.
am woke, I'm trying to meditate and get myself together for the day,
Right,
not to
right,
conversate with you to tell me that your gout and flared up, sweetie.
right. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I don't need that.
So do you think, and this last question this round, do you think when you meet the next guy that he's got to pay for the sins of the previous guy?
No,
You ain't gonna hold him to it or nothing?
no. That's why I'm
Okay.
working on me
Okay.
because
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I did it in the past and it's unfair. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't do it on purpose. Most people don't even recognize that there is an issue that you carry.
Hmm. You're right.
So if you don't
Yeah.
know that you're carrying that issue, um, you can unintentionally just damage a person more. And I
Right.
don't ever want to do that.
Yeah. Hurt people tend to hurt people.
Yeah.
All right. You're listening to What's Up Award TV and What's Up Award the podcast, and we're speaking with Regina Watson. And we're going to move into our final section of the show right quick. It's called Rapid Fire. I'm just going to ask you a few quick questions, and you just tell me the first thing that comes to mind. All right.
Okay.
Number one, what was the last book you read?
Last book I read
Yes.
all the way through.
Listen Audible or even whatever you read. Yeah, that's what you're listening to.
Um, hold on. Because it's in my audible now.
Okay.
Hold on. It's by Doc uh Bishop what's his name? He gonna kill me. Um
Oh, it's somebody you
Ramsey.
know? Okay.
He's the bishop of the church that I attend.
Okay.
And it's called One Night Stand.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he talks about the biblical principles of being prepared and going for marriage. And
Okay. I
so
like that.
that
I like the
is what
title.
the last book that I read.
All right. Next question. How would
Mhm.
your family describe you?
Outgoing loud. What my sister say, you always tend to take over everything.
Okay. What songs do you keep on repeat in your head?
In my head, um, make me forget by Money Long.
Is that the new one?
Yeah, she has
Okay.
two, but
Okay.
that one um is if a man was a song, that would be the man song.
Okay. It's called Make Me Forget.
Yes.
Okay. I have to listen to that and make sure I know the one you're talking about. Next question. What's the best quality that you like about yourself?
Quality. Hmm.
Just one.
I know. I'm trying to think. Best quality. I'm a people person, not a people pleaser.
Right.
I'm a people person. I could talk to
Okay.
almost anybody.
That's true. Okay. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would you change?
One thing about myself, I want to at least be 5'5". I know I have no control over that. And I have
Heels.
to 5'5". I'm 5'3" and a half. If I can 5'5", I'm cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Which is a better movie in your opinion, The Color Purple or The Best Man?
Oh, that's hard. I have to say Color Purple.
Okay. Yeah, that was a good movie. It was a lot of people can relate to that. So yeah, that's a tough one too. I do think I don't know if I had to, I don't know, tough one on that. But if I had to make a decision, I'd probably go with The Best Man. Only because I like the fact of how much um, Morris Chestnut loved his wife. I mean, he loved that woman. You just don't see that in our community too often.
And that's true, but he also underestimated that woman. He had her on a pedestal as if
Yes,
she was, and she's like, no, I make mistakes too. I just
well, she
happen to
made a
make it
big
with the
mistake.
wrong one. Now, what I like
Yeah,
about Color Purple more than The Best Man is a book about discovery
right.
of
You're right.
a person who had been suppressed, who
You talk
is
about
now
Sealy?
coming in. Yes, because
Okay.
that's what it was about. And you got to read the book to get the full understanding, but the movies and all of them are good. So,
Oh, okay. If you were trapped on a desert island and you can only take four things with you, what would you take? Four
four
things.
things:
Four
the
things.
Bible,
Oh, okay.
um, a first aid kit,
Okay.
um, a pillow,
Mm,
and a knife.
okay. All right. Those sound like some good ones there. Who is your go-to person who really knows you when you need to talk to that friend, that non-judgmental friend? Who is that?
My BFF, I'm not going to say their name,
Okay. Oh,
but
look, you smart because if they listen to it, it could be anybody. Okay, I see what
you
you're
know what I'm
doing.
saying? I have a BFF that she's a phenomenal woman. And she
Yeah.
doesn't get enough credit for all that she's been through, going through, and I I wish a person would about my best
Okay.
friend. And that's how it
Okay.
is about for me. So yeah.
Good. Okay, respect that. What makes Regina laugh?
It could be something I read, something I see. These new people, these young generation, I crack up. Cause I'm like, and I had to laugh because I can't get mad because it's like, I know your parents didn't. Mm.
It couldn't
I
have.
just gotta laugh.
Uh-huh.
I laugh and I love watching little kids. The
Okay, yeah.
babies are hilarious and they are miniature human. They're miniature adults and they just living their best life. And they don't be giving a hoot. And I'll be like, I want to be like that again. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And they will say what's on their mind, and you can't even get all you can do is like, is laugh. Like that was really
Mm-hmm.
on that little person's mind. And we got to
All right.
acknowledge what they feel. But
Yep.
the contents of it might not have been right at the moment.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What's your future looking like for you?
See myself in 5 years.
Yeah.
I would like to have my business up and running,
Okay.
um, and continually helping those that need help in the community.
You want to shout out what your business plan is, or you just want us to be surprised on that?
My business plan is I want to continue to work with the families as advocates.
Okay.
Um, when there comes to a point when there's families that really need services when it comes to not able to afford the burial. I want to be able like, okay, well, how much is it? This is the donation for this, and
Hmm.
not have to pay it back. And also and continue to encourage families to get life insurance.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Um, if I had not encouraged my son and his girl to get life insurance, just do your job, pay that $5. That's how I was able to bury my son and not have to worry about anything because
That
he
makes
had a
sense.
life insurance policy.
Hmm.
So, and encourage that and to be the spokesperson for those that can't speak. And when I mean that, because like I said, there are a lot of mothers like myself. They may not be where I am today, but if they need
Hmm.
somebody to speak and be an advocate for them, to read their impact statements in court, I'm willing to do so. Um, assist them in writing an impact statement and knowing what actually an impact statement is,
Right.
and to help them um, paint a picture of their loved one so that it can get across so that whomever is in the seat to go to jail, that they will. And your impact statement is very important.
Yeah. Okay. Two questions there. Number one, next to the last question is, what do you not understand about men, or what's something you wish you knew better about men, if anything?
Why? For those that cheat,
Mm.
for those that cheat, because every man don't cheat.
Black men don't cheat, but go ahead.
Anywho, uh, why? And if a woman says, do you have a wife? Do you have a girlfriend? Why do you make decisions for women? And quit making the decision for me. If I want to cheat, give me that option. Don't make that decision for me.
What do you mean?
Why do
I'm confused. Why they're making a decision for you?
Yeah, because if I ask you, do you have a wife, and you say no, and me you get in a
Oh,
relationship,
oh,
then you
yeah.
made a decision for me.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be with a married man. I mean, I do. I
Mm.
want to be my husband, but I don't want to
Right.
be with another woman's man. I don't want to
Mm.
share. I'm not. I don't want to be number two. I'm the oldest of five, and I want to be umero uno. Well, actually, two. You got God first, and then me. You feel what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
But within that aspect, no. If you know that your eyes wander and I say something to you, don't tell me, hey, look, you human,
Yeah.
but don't make that decision for me. Because then you got your wife calling and cussing me out, and I didn't even know. I asked. I'm one of the probably the few 1% of women that's gonna ask.
Hmm.
Do you
Yeah.
have a girlfriend? Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have 4, 5 wives? Don't make that decision for me. Why do men do that? Why do they just up and like, no, I ain't got nobody? And knowing she's at home.
Hmm.
That's what I want to know.
Good question. I'm gonna do some research on that and add that on one of my shows. Last question in this round. What's the deal breaker for you in relationships? Is it that one? Same thing?
Cheating, yes.
Cheating is different. So you wouldn't forgive him at all if he cheated
No,
though.
no, I can't even say that. I can't say that because I forgave. So let me back up.
Uh-huh.
That was a deal breaker, but I didn't stand on it. So with that being said, whatever and whomever I'm in a relationship with, when we come up with our boundaries and what out, then that's what it be. What it is right now, I don't know because I'm not
Okay.
in a relationship. But
Okay.
and it has to be that you're my husband. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you just my man and you cheat, yeah, I'm gonna cut you loose. Feel what I'm
Cut them off.
saying?
Yep.
So yeah.
I think, speaking for men, I think sometimes men don't really want to cheat, I don't think. But I think if somebody does do something, I think it's contributing factors. Not in all cases, but
Let me tell you something. I see the gray pants energy all the time. I
fan
see it.
energy.
You see what I'm saying? I see the gray. I see the chocolates bald with the beards. I see it. But when you're my
Mm-hmm.
husband, I don't see that. That's me. Cause said I'm that little bit of percent. I don't
All right.
I don't do the tit for tat. And no, I mean we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be. I want somebody who's gonna be just as focused as I am. We're in this
Mm-hmm.
relationship together.
I agree.
So
I agree. It's got to be a team effort. I totally
yeah.
agree. All right, that's a lot of information there. So guess what?
But
We're at the end of this show.
all right.
So I'm gonna wrap it up. Before I do that, I'm gonna say my final thoughts. But I want to say to you, it's been a plum pleasing pleasure speaking with Regina Watson here today on the What's Up Award TV podcast. It's not always easy to be vulnerable and discuss our private lives with somebody, so I truly respect you and thank you for being here. Just want to ask, is there anything you want to change, modify, or clarify before I say my final thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Um just each person needs to take time and learn to love themselves
Hmm.
and put God first.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yep. And did you want to share those sites again where you said for the mothers or who lost children? What
Okay.
what was?
They're called it's a part of Dave Ross Foundation. It's called A Mother's Cry.
Hmm.
You can find that on Facebook. A D Ross Foundation. You can find that also on Facebook. Purpose for My Pain, um, Facebook, and you can get with the founders of that. I'm also in a group called Coaches Corners,
Okay.
and that is selective women that are just trying to find their way through being a servant to God, and
Mhm.
that's through Milestone.
Milestone.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Let me get my final thoughts right quick. And my final thoughts are these. When I was a kid, they used to say reading is fundamental. And I truly believe that the older you get, the more you read, the more you find out that there's something you don't know. Then you realize I need to know much more. So the realization of this is what I call critical thinking. If you don't
Hmm.
believe me, try reading the Bible and see what happens in your life. So, in closing, I'd like to say that if you have a story to share, please feel to reach out to me. I'd like to share your story as well. Hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Until next time, thank you for our guest, Regina. Peace.
Thank you.